Hi guys, it's Allison from Alley Cat Creations. How are you? Please hit that thumbs up button. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done yet so already. And if you get anything from my work, connect the dot. A mind, an epiphany, new book to read, new author to explore, artwork to look at. Please support me, and you can do that in the comment section below this video. The links are there. Hi. You can check my website, alleycatcreations211.com. I got paintings, pyramids, and all types of other things that I make. I customize, and I'm here spreading the energy. So last night I did Beyond Good and Evil. Very interesting things were brought up. And Spirit Upstairs was like, you're doing that book first, and then you're going to do your, yeah, cool. Get myself prepared here. I had to go run out today to the post office this early morning, and my back is killing me, and it's cold. I don't want to lay completely back. There we go. This topic is one that is extremely difficult for a lot of people to grasp. And it's not necessarily that you don't understand, it's actually applying this concept, applying it in your mind. And what's hard about it is because we are human and we have judgments, we have things that we are biased about. We tend to only choose a side that we align with. And the hard part about divine neutrality is that there is no side. There's multiple perceptions and interpretations of anything that you could think of. As we are venturing into new territory, as we are at the close of one cycle and entering a new cycle, as we are in the holiday season, we have Grinches and we have spectacular magic happening, but it's up to you to decide, are you going to be the Grinch? Are you going to embrace the season? And how do we do that when you have some people in your life, you're like, I don't want to be with family. You have to find the source, the prime creator, God, in everything and everybody. This is the hardest concept. I'm drinking coffee. It's actually 11 by me a.m. This is the hardest concept to apply, because there are people that trigger the hell out of you. There are people who are in a whole opposite alignment in heart space from you. It ain't easy going out and someone does something stupid or takes someone's life or makes really not okay choices. But that's not for you to decide what those choices are good or bad necessarily. Yes, we don't want anybody doing harm on others. But if you look and take a step back at the design of this matrix, of the simulation, of the holograph, however you perceive this reality to be, you don't need to take my word for it. What is your perception of your reality? It's not like mine, but we're here. When you're looking at other people, do you see the God within them? You see the divinity in them. And from comments that I've been seeing, again, I am on WeNotMe, JackBreaksOut, UnpopularViewPoint. I am in the chat quite often there. SacredValley when Tara does a show. And a lot of other shows once in a while I'll pop in on. I'm in there and I'm reading comments. I'm not necessarily commenting all the time, but when I'm in there and I'm just observing the wording and the projection that and the will and intention that people are throwing out, it's scary. And it's not a fault of their own. This is something that we've been programmed. We don't look at other people to see the divinity in them. Our world would be a whole new different type of realm if we saw the divinity in everybody. And even though people make bad choices and steers towards the negative polarized forces in the world, they still, NPC, soul or not soul, it's still a source's design, source code. If you want to be the scientific person and not, well, I don't know if there's a God, then do the source code. Whatever works for you in the modality that you are thinking about. You somehow got created by two people who got created by two other people who got created by two other people. How did the material world form around you? Look at the deeper sense of the questions. Analyze whether it's a scientific brain or a religious spiritual brain. You could come to the same conclusions in observation on both ends. It's still energy. It's still light. It's still frequency. When we're traversing the world in our expression of source, divine, prime creator, the infinitude of the energy that is in us, and we are expressing it as a human soul, as a human being, source, your higher self, higher density entities are having an experience through this vehicle. So is everyone else. And they're playing roles that you're not. I say this all the time. I want you to associate that the first step in any of this understanding is going within your own self and finding thyself, finding the divinity within you. That's step number one, is seeing how special you really are, how unique you really are, how authentic you really are. And that is something that we are programmed not to find in ourselves. We are programmed to look in the mirror and find the faults in us. And yet we all have them. There's not a mistake about that. It's overcoming those faults. Some things are physical and you can't I mean, you can go to the doctor and get a nose job. You can get things enhanced, right? But at the end of the day, that's not how you were created. And again, I'm not knocking anybody that goes out and does those things. That's a personal choice and that's up to you to do. No judgment here. But you have a unique signature of energy that emits from you every moment of every day. When you're thinking good thoughts, when you're feeding yourself high vibing words, high vibing feelings, you're going to attract higher vibrating states of experiences, people, places, and things. Instead of going, well, today's going to be a shitty day. Why don't you make today the best day you possibly can? Oh, today's very gloomy. Yeah, it might literally be gloomy, but why are you setting your energy to that gloom vibration? Set it to something higher. Well, I'm still going to make the best day out of it. Oh, this is a great lighting to take photographs. Cloudy, overcast skies is a great painting day. It's natural lighting. It's gorgeous. Go outside and enjoy it instead of, it's gross, right? That's the human in us, to see the negative in everything. And it's not, and when I was reading Beyond Good and Evil, Nisha makes a point to look at both sides. So it's not necessarily you should be this, hi guys, everything is perfect, because that's not realistic. That's not being realistic. We have to be realistic, but we need to put the vibratory state in us to say, okay, so I didn't wake up feeling good today. You know what? But I'm going to make it the best day I could possibly make it. I'm going to make an attempt to feel better. I'm going to make an attempt to stay warm today. I'm going to put cozy clothes and just chillax today, right? You could do that for yourself, but you can't do that for other people. And that's where the problems are headed. That's where the unity consciousness really needs to take the giant leap of faith and start seeing the divinity in others, start seeing their expression, start seeing, okay, so they signed up for their experience. It might not be the best one, but how can I look at this person in a different light? Remember, I'm an artist. Light comes in many different shades, hues, tones, shadows. And it all has variants of different effects. So each person walking around is a light bulb. Some are dim, some are those little night lights. Some of us are lighthouses. Whatever, which one you want to put yourself in, that's you. How are you looking at other people? Right now, it ain't looking so good. It really isn't. And we need to make some changes to see it, and not to ignore the negative, not to ignore that these people are bad, not to ignore the insanity that some people bring to the table, but at the scale end, that's source having an experience through them. A lot of people equate to and roll back, especially in what I see in the movement that I belong to, is it all goes back to Jesus. I call Jesus Yeshua, by the way. He walked many different paths to get to the same place. He walked different countries, different climates, in different places. He touched so many people. And so did his disciples. And so did the people he offered healing to. You know what? He didn't choose. Those were other expressions of source that needed to show others through those people the power of what happens when you know thyself. So are you giving grace and compassion to people? The holiday seasons is a really rough time for many people because they're not seeing the divinity, and others are not seeing the divine, unique expression sources playing through other people. And those people are going to be triggering you to no ends of the earth. How do you change your reaction to those triggers is going in and dealing with your triggers. healing, releasing. And it's harder when someone physically has done something to you to harm you. It's hard when someone has nothing but negative, horrible things to say about you, to your face. Those are the hardest things to put up in front of yourself to say, well, how the hell am I giving this person compassion? They don't deserve it. No, they don't necessarily. But how do we get to unity if they're included? That's the tricky part. When you speak will and intention into the universe, things start to happen. It materializes, it starts formulating upstairs, and then it drops down into density. Therefore, there's a manifestation. So why can't we manifest for a better world, for peace, for harmony? But you got to put yourself in that alignment first in order to have that manifestation happen. As the holidays come closer, there's always a pressure to give materialistic things to people. But what you can start doing for yourself is start reminding yourself each and every day how special you really are. That's a gift that keeps on giving. Then the next step, when the holidays come and you got that grandma who you can't stand, or that person in your life that just you want to keep very far away from because they're just so negative. Well, ask yourself, why are they so negative? Maybe they had some trauma that you are not aware of that is just unconsciously spewing itself at anybody's direction. It's like spraying at everybody. You got to look at other people and ask why. The same questions you ask of yourself. Why did I feel this way? Why did that happen to me? Why did this feel the way it did? Once you answer those questions, you can start asking them of other people, but to yourself. Well, why is that person functioning that way? Why is that person always so negative? Maybe they have lack of self-confidence. Maybe no one has spoken to them with compassion. Maybe that's all they know how to project because that's a survival mechanism they developed. When you can look unbiasedly at someone else's behavior, you tend no longer to give the reactions that you would normally give to somebody who triggers you, which is offense, defense, back and forth ping pong match of your perception of the world is not going to match anybody's but your own. There's going to be commonalities in other people, places, and things. I'll give you a scenario. I had an argument, not necessarily an argument. We were just, me and my boyfriend were just talking, and in the car one night, and I mentioned flat Earth, and he's totally not on board. Not that I believe necessarily in flat Earth either, but it's an expanded question to see where I'm gauging where he's at. And with what I am and what I know I am, and the confident level that I'm there, I'm not trying to exude myself or be conceited or narcissistic. I'm confident in knowing what thyself is. And I'm a divine expression of source. My perception of what this reality is a toroidal field. It's energy. It's magnetism. He doesn't see it that way. His brain doesn't operate in that mode. The harder part for me is, okay, so how do I keep on being with somebody who is not in any kind of alignment with me in terms of intellectually, in terms of what I'm into. And I had to put my foot down in my own self to say, well, just stop bringing up these topics. It's not worth your energy to expend right now. If he gets curious enough to mention something, then you can go and try to show evidence on your part. Some people, he is one of those people included, you need to show solid paper documents. Can't wait for him to see and meet JQ. But regardless, some people need more than just a document to be proven. They need an experience. And can we give somebody the flat earth experience? I'm just giving this as an example, not necessarily. Unless you have a boat and you go out to a lake, or you are in an airplane and you ask the pilot. These things are not easy to traverse with other people who are not expanding consciously at this moment in time. But my reaction to that argument was to just let it go, release it, and say, you know what, if he's meant to understand my ways of thinking, great. If not, great. I can't force somebody to see the world, and I don't want to, my way. I just want them to have the open mind to the possibility. So here's a perfect example of what you can bring to your holiday, which one you celebrate. If there's people who are so closed-minded and narrow-minded that they're not willing to expand, well, it's not their time yet. You have to accept it. You have to give it compassion and grace. And it's just something you don't mention. If they come to you and ask, great. Then you show them, but do it with sympathy and empathy. And sympathy, not necessarily like to feel, you don't want to pity somebody, but with the understanding that they know not. And when they know not, and you know, it's not shoving something in someone's face like an arrogant prick. That's not what we're here to do. Many of us are way showers. We're way ahead. We're at the top of the building, and now we got to take the people on the first floor and we got to educate them slowly so that they can raise to the second floor. And then you step them up to each floor with different experiences and different sorts of knowledge. The vastness of truth is, again, at a vibratory state wherever they are at. Your expanded understanding of the bigger picture of that bigger vibratory state is way more vaster, and it shifts each floor you go, more things unlock for you. You need more experience. You need how to understand and deal with the truth. The other day, JQ put some very damning pictures out, stuff that I have been exposed to in the art world before. So I wasn't even in shock. I'm just like, oh, okay, gross, but whatever. And a lot of people were like, and I could feel that energy spewing off of people's, and that's a big part of my abilities, is to feel other people's intentions. I don't do it by, I just feel. And it's funny because a lot of people thought they could handle stuff. And a lot of people couldn't handle that. And that's okay. But you got to realize that if you can't handle certain pictures and certain things that are graphic, now what do you expect somebody who is not so open-minded and very narrow-minded, what do you think they're going to do with that picture? It's going to traumatize them instead of opening them up to say, here's some evidence. You got to do things in steps and slowly. As much as we see the movement deceiving us, putting a carrot on a stick, I mentioned that last night in the video. we're being strung along. I don't like either side of the coin because I see both sides are manipulating the whole, the mass, us. I don't care if you're awake or not awake, if you're aware or not aware. The more puzzling, it's all a test. All of this is a test. Are you passing? There's no real test of passing. These experiences are going to keep coming over and over again, and they keep looping. Oh, they keep looping. Why? It's how long now? How many years? How many years? So if you don't think, oh, the white hats are in control, this is going to happen. Oh, that's definitely happening. Oh, look, the paperwork is out. Oh, yeah, a lot of this stuff has already been out and rectified in, but why hasn't it actually appeared in the physical reality? You're being deceived on both sides. Doesn't matter which side you are on, all sides are being deceived, because if things were to sort of try to happen, well, you keep getting strung along each time you're looking at the deck clock. Then you got this other site that everybody's like glued on, and then a new message pops up, and then it tells you there's another countdown. Are you not being distracted by something? Are you doing the work inside your heart space to see if that's something you're aligning with? I'm not against either side. One side is worse than the other, but they're playing a tactic that I don't align with, and I'm not feeding my energy to. It's the same with the people in the family, and it's the same about looking at the divinity in others. You don't need to accept or feed your energy source to these people. If they did heinous things, if they are triggering you to the point where you want to snap a neck, then don't feed it your energy. Give it love. Give it some compassion and understanding that this is the way they are. You're not going to convince them to change otherwise. So how do you change your reaction so that you're in peace and you're in harmony and your vibratory state is high? You still need to see the divinity in them, but that's source having an experience through them, and you have to respect it. That is the hard part. Extremely hard. The Kybalion, I read this. I think it's a good idea to revisit some of this, to look at it in different terminology. Causation. Every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. So that also terminology is you in your everyday life. There's a cause and effect to your actions, to your words. There's laws to these things. How are you going to steer your cause and effect? Because within that, your field that you don't necessarily see, the law of correspondence, the law of attraction, you putting the will and effort into saying, I love you, with your intention from your heart space, really meaning it, not just saying it to make somebody feel better, but you're saying it because you're being authentic, because you're willing it to power. You're putting it out into spoken word, into a vibratory state where the frequency reaches another person, where their energetic field takes on that vibratory state, brings it into them, and do they feel it? When you're speaking and someone's triggering you, here's the effect. Someone is at the dinner table and they say some ratchet shit about you, or they're taking the shiv to you. How are you going to respond? Usually it's that or that word that comes out of you, right? You can, and it's a good vent. But possibly you could take a route of, hey, that's okay, you feel that way, but I don't have to accept that energy. That's where you need to learn to self-protect and put your barriers up and your walls up and your protection spiritually up, not to absorb those negative things. Have it reflect out. And how do you do that? Through your reaction. I'm sorry you feel that way about me. Maybe we need to go deeper and discover more, and when the time is appropriate. It's not everything needs to be spoken in front of everybody, because this is something I also try to bring up to people that have parents struggling at home that are nonstop arguing or fighting. This happened in my own household. I'm a victim of this, not a victim in a sense that I was bombarded by this my whole life. My parents used to fight all the time, and they argued in front of me. And not necessarily it was anything having to do with me. Sometimes yes, other times no. But that energy was absorbed into my system. Regardless if it was about me or not, them fighting, causing those words and that frequency to build up in the atmosphere, I, as an empath, was absorbing all of it unbeknownst to me. I was a child. I had no idea how to protect myself or to remove myself out of the situation. Even if I was not in the same vicinity, but I heard what was happening, I'm still getting those waves of negative energy influxing into my field. Be wise. If you are going to vent and you do explode, again, you're human and it's okay. It happens. But what are the effects on others? If we're not seeing, we lapse into seeing the divinity in other people in the moment, and you are ripping someone a new butthole, are you doing it in a private spot where no one can hear you and it's just you absorbing that negative energy? Or are you reflecting it to everybody around you? That's cause and effect. We need to be really more consciously aware of how we are distributing our energy and what kind of energy we're distributing to others that are around us in our field. Are you aware that when you start hearing those things, you can start bubbling yourself? You can imagine these things in your mind. You could put the mirrors up. You could wear the chainmail. You can remove yourself physically out of the room, out of the place of where this argument or where these vibes are happening. It's not so easy in the holiday season where you have children and you can't just get up to leave. Or your children hear it and they're not aware that they should be getting up to leave. We need to redesign how we go about venting. how we go about communicating to other people. We need to be more in a harmonious, calm state of mind. And we're all programmed to be hot-headed and be rough and tough and gangsta. But is that all necessary? Are you expending your energy in the wrong way? Remember, you are a divine, unique expression of the infinitude of all the energy. Are you choosing to distribute that energy and be the lighthouse? Or are you the storm coming in to dim that light? How are you being and setting an example for the people around you? You are the way shower. You are showing people how to be righteous, how to walk the neutral path, how to see both sides. You don't overly extending yourself in the positive. You're not letting people walk on you. You have boundaries up. You need to be stern to an extent. You need to have tough love. Tough love is still love. It's tough though. You need to be real with people. You need to be your authentic self. You don't need to be, hi guys, everything is rainbows and sparkle glitter farts. Like, it's great if you're like that in your disposition and you always have been that way. That's your characteristic you portray. But most of us are down to earth realistic and we see both sides and we need to be true to our own emotions. But how do we change the reactions when we are triggered, when somebody is out on the attack? How do we steer clear of feeding that energy? Is it worth it? And also noting that's God sending a sign to you that maybe you need, that's their catalyst for you to learn from. There's always a lesson and a challenge in everything that is given to you in this life. How are you steering it? The larger capacity to hate other people and still dividing is still happening. We're still dividing. Those, this, that, and the other thing. I belong on Earth. I'm a species of human. We come in different shapes, sizes, colors, religions, languages. We're all beautiful. Can't you see the God within everybody? Even if somebody is satanic, Satan, like I said, is still of God's paradigm. It's an experience. It's a thought form. It's a conjuring up of negative polarized thoughts. Why are you absorbing it? Why are you choosing to give it energy? The same I'm saying about all these people that are doing wrong and have done heinous, horrible things. Why are you continuously feeding them your loosh? Why are you giving them any kind of energy? If horror movies haven't taught you anything, if you watch them, Freddy Krueger, you keep thinking about him, he just appears and he starts materializing. If you could take anything away from any of those movies in the 80s, he disappeared when people stopped thinking about him and people stopped bringing up his diluted, horrible, disgusting past. It doesn't, and it shouldn't take away from the people that were victims of those crimes. But they too need to move on and they need to live normal lives. And you keep bringing the past and trauma up, they're not going to be able to heal because keep stirring a pot that doesn't need to be stirred anymore. That's one example from a movie. Stirring the pot, you keep bringing it up. It's going to manifest and materialize like that. If we want a lot of these things to stop happening, we need to stop giving it its energy. We need to stop blindly following people because they have a military guy who has intel. I could say I have so many damn veteran friends that have some know-how and knowledge. If they are really having intel, that's, guess what? They have NDAs and they're not allowed to speak about it. So tell me again how this intel stuff gets out. Oh, there's a whistleblower. Okay. To some degree, yeah, whistleblowers are important. But it's not coming from somebody who's on the front line that is protecting us with weapon. Those people are contractors. Those people work in non-armed roles that are speaking out. Any one of my friends that served and is still serving in the military, I don't expect them to tell me where they are and what mission they are sent on. There are numerous times I sent boxes out to Kuwait, to Iraq, to Afghanistan with supplies, and I had to go to a central hub. I wasn't allowed to know where they were. Eventually, where they went, their mission was over and they were in a centralized zone, they were able to tell me through some crazy satellite phone that they received. Thank you so much. Everybody was happy with what you sent. You're not supposed to know. So I'm saying this to bring a realistic truth that all these people who claim that they know or is close, do you really know? Possibly, maybe. But how much truth is in those statements? The all. Under and back of the universe of time, space, and change is ever to be found the substantial reality, the fundamental truth. Substance means that which underlies all outward manifestations, the essence, the essential reality, the thing in itself. Substantial means actually existing, being the essential element, being real. Reality means the state of being real, true, enduring, valid, fixed, permanent, actual. Under and behind all outward appearances or manifestations, there must always be a substantial reality. This is the law. Man, considering the universe of which he is a unit, sees nothing but change in matter, forces, and mental states. He sees that nothing really is, but that everything is becoming and changing. Nothing stands still. Everything is being born, growing, dying. The very instant a thing reaches its height, it begins to decline. The law of rhythm is in constant operation. It's true. There is no reality, enduring, quality, fixity, or substantially in anything. Nothing is permanent but change. Nothing endures but change. And if he be a thinking man, he realizes that all of these changing things must be but outward appearances or manifestations of something underlying power, substantial reality. In these lessons, we are followed the example of some of the world's greatest thinkers, both ancient and modern, the Hermetic masters, and have called the underlying power this substantial reality by the Hermetic name of the All, which term we consider the most comprehensive of the many terms applied to by man to that which transcends names and terms. And so I said, choose which one you resonate with when it comes to how we got here. Source code, the infinite creator. That's a big one Ra uses. Source, prime creator, the monad. Choose one. You don't have to choose at all either. Revisit this book. This is a book that's going to help you with the mental gymnastics. Not just for yourself, but seeing it in other people. My biggest challenge in the relationship that I'm in, and it is always a battle of my own inner will, because I'm seeing that all the healing I have done, did I change the way I'm reacting in my words, in my body language, and in my thoughts? Am I giving grace and compassion to him? Am I seeing all sides of the playing field? Am I seeing all potentialities? Do I see all the different reactions that could possibly happen? And which one I want to steer and feed instead of something I don't want to have happen? We get to control ourselves, our words, and our reactions. That will, putting that energy out there, might change their reaction and wording. It's a ping pong mental gymnastic match. You're on the balance beam, and each word and vibratory state you put out puts a frequency out, which they'll receive. And you're doing backflips and wolf turns and some crazy shit on that beam. But if you lose your focus and you start putting out low vibratory states, what do you think is going to happen? You might wobble. And they might receive that wobble, take your words the wrong way, and then snap back at you and you fall. I'm doing this episode because we sometimes lose the fact that, yeah, we are divine creatures. We are all expressions of source, but do you really understand that? Are you bringing it within your being to understand that? Are you going within to know thyself? Because once you know thyself, then you can see the divine expression in others. Is it pretty? Not really. But the challenge is to change you and your reactions to that negative polarized character source is playing through. That's all you got to do, is stop feeding BS. Stop giving energy to things that don't warrant your energy. You want to be a light. If you're a lighthouse, you're a lighthouse whether the ship is from the pirate or from the good guy bringing goods and trade to your area. You're a lighthouse for everybody. You don't have a say in where your light shines, it's going to shine regardless. And it's going to hit everybody. It just doesn't hit who you want it to hit. I mean, yeah, if there's a boat whose foghorn goes off and they're lost or they're in trouble, of course you're going to give them the spotlight, but you don't really know who that ship belongs to and what the intentions are. You're going to be a lighthouse for everybody around you, regardless of their good or bad intentions, regardless of any of it. You are the lighthouse. You're in bias. You have a job to function and perform. You're bringing light into the dark void. Just don't dim your light in the dimmer spots, in the darker spots. You got to be the lighthouse for all. Keep that in mind when you're walking and traversing this world. We want to bash. I don't bash. I don't even read those comments anymore. I kind of scroll past it with my eyes because I could feel the energy coming off of it. I don't want to accept that energy into my space. And most of the people that put those comments out are beautiful people. They're amazing people. They're just not seeing the divinity in themselves, and they're not seeing the divinity in others. Whether you agree, divinity is beyond good and evil. Remember that. I recommend this book. Besides having channeling, this goes into a lot of the mechanics and science, but also spirituality. I can't read this off, right? It is copywritten. But they go into the sub-laws of the universe. And I can quote this: the knowledge of man is as the waters, some descending from above and some springing from beneath. As above, so below. The one informed by the light of nature, the other inspired by divine revelation. Francis Bacon, Saint Germain. Why? And a lot of people ask why Francis Bacon and then in brackets Saint Germain, because these entities are working through that person. If you go to Pamela Ehrlin, Johannes, Yeshua's son, was working through Francis of Assisi. A reincarnated Johannes was Francis of Assisi. As I have an archangel who is having an experience through me, I'm still Allison, but there is an archangel incarnate through my soul, working and having an experience, a human one. Whatever you feel, whatever you're hearing, again, and I have to stop saying that. I say it too many times. Am I a good person? Am I doing the best that I can through the experience that source and I assigned myself to have? Do I try each and every day to strive to go and do better? I'm not happy with these stupid animatronic things that come up in my videos, but whatever. The debate about angels, are they good or evil? It's all interpretation and perception. you have to see both sides. Lucifer is bad, but in the same breath, everybody's like, divine feminine. Lucifer is bad. What happens if Lucifer was Yeshua? In the positive polarized sense. Having an experience. What happens if you find out that you played a murderer? Does that change this life? Does it change your perception? It shouldn't. The only thing it should change is seeing the divinity in the bad. Like I just said, what happens if Archangel Lucifer, hello, was the embodiment in the material form we call Yeshua? What happens if a darker entity was playing Buddha? We got to detach the stories, the indoctrination, and the programming that we've been in. You got to find the source code. It's been infiltrated. How do you rewrite your code so you see your reality clearly? So you can see, yeah, there are demons and there are angels. There are good entities, there are bad entities. Think about your perception and interpretation of it. Once you see that it's just an experience and they pop out and they show you, I had a spirit the other day. It was showing itself. Hi. I'm going to give you the same respect, but my boundaries are up. My protection's always up, just in case. But I'm not going to fear it. I'm not feeding it energy that it doesn't need. We were all good and evil in the same breath in different lifetimes. Once you can accept that about yourself and then look in other people and say, oh, well, they're playing the bad guy this round. You're not going to take what they say so seriously and to heart. That annoying family member that is irking you and really they're revving you up, they're just there to get energy out of you. So why are you feeding it? Why are you feeding it? Stop feeding it. Send it love. Bye-bye. There's your boundaries. You're not being rude. You're setting your boundaries down. You got to apply what I'm saying into your everyday, and it's going to take time to make those changes occur. It's going to take time and practice to change your mindset on a drop of a dime to say, oh, well, okay, that person's getting underneath my skin. Okay, so how do I react and what do I say? That's all individual and up to you. Do you feed them that energy that they're looking for? Or do you gracefully, with compassion, knock it down and walk away? This is a battle. It's challenging. It's frustrating. But this is where we get, the holiday time is exactly where we get the best practice in. If you have a family that's destructive. We need to start seeing the divinity in others, but we first have to start with ourselves. In this book, I'll show you in a second, sub-laws of the universe and the behaviors and attitudes that diminish and sustain them. Aspiration to higher potential. Definition: the higher force that instills within us the strong desire to achieve greater things. Purpose: the soul's ambition to evolve and journey back to the source. Behaviors: behaviors and attitudes governed by the ego. Sabotaging your accomplishments, experiencing a lack of openness, failing to keep promises, lack of interest in life, criticizing others. Attitudes: inability to set goals and objectives, fear of success and failure, fear of risks. Feeling: vanity, diminishing energy, hopelessness, despair, death, playing it safe. Techniques for aligning with the higher self. Trust in the process and divine order of the universe. Make commitments and keep them. Follow your inspirations. See a part of yourself in everyone else. That's huge. And emulate all that is good in others. Aligned with the higher self. Never stay around negative people for more than 5 minutes. That's why I'm saying what I am with the prior comments. Give that person compassion and grace, put your wall up, and don't feed them the energy, walk away. It's not worth your energy. I don't care if you look like from other perspectives, you're on the losing side, doesn't matter. You're going to only lose when you're drained of your energy, you're tired and frustrated, and you get into those feelings. Allow yourself to risk. God is in the details. I am getting better and better every day. The light within me is expanding and producing miracles in my life. Sorry, guys, this goddamn. And it goes through compassion, courage, dedication, faith, forgiveness, generosity, grace, honesty, hope, joy, kindness, leadership, non-interference, patience, praise, responsibility, self-love, thankfulness, unconditional love. So within this book, towards the back, these things are going to help you identify what's within you and how to project it out to others, but also identifying each and every one of these things: unconditional love, absolute acceptance of another without any sign of judgment. This is a very hard one for the populace. The expression of God through the soul that grants us freedom of the light, freedom in the light. This is what we need: unconditional love overall, to move on and ascend, to graduate, whatever you want to call that. Expansion. Excuse me. Behavior. Criticizing and judging others to make yourself look better. Self-criticism. And we all do that. We all self-criticize. We sit there and because we want to better ourselves. But watch the wording and how you self-criticize. Like I just said before, I keep saying that word in certain phrases over and over, and I'm catching it and it's annoying me. So I got to make the conscious connection when I'm talking to refrain myself from continuously making the same phrases or saying the same word. It's just backfill words. I should be putting more substance. So, yeah, it's a critique on my own self, but I'm not saying it in a way that I'm degrading myself or I'm putting myself down. I kept something that I can make an improvement on. Experiencing any feeling or vibration that is not calm, peaceful, and loving. Lack of ability to forgive or sacrifice. Feeling of fear, anger, hostility, low self-esteem, piousness. Get in touch with your inner child to determine if or where it is wounded. Call forth the experiences, bless them, and forgive yourself and others. Observe others from a detached standpoint. Again, detach, whether it be your kids, your uncle, your parents, whatever, whoever's in your life, friend. Visualize the light within, permeating every cell of your body. Meditate daily to quiet the mind. See God in all things. Know that you are a point of light and that God is within. I love to give and to receive. I give thanks to God for all that I am. Life is beautiful and I see perfection in all things. That is unconditional love. The light shall set you free. I mentioned this book a lot, but there is tools in here to help you familiarize yourself with all the laws. A lot of this is in this. Worded a little differently, but it's the same concepts. You got some channeling in here. You got messages coming from Ascended Masters, Rishis, Daihan Kohans. You got people coming in, the rainbow journals that I've read on this channel. Those are also very spot on with the same entities that are in here. Purchase this book if you're a reader. But again, this is just a foundation that you can set for yourself in order to move forward. There's other books out there, I promise you. There is plenty. But this is what I have at my disposal at the moment. But a lot of the books behind me, you want to be good, you got to do good. You want to be an influencer, you got to act in all ways to how you want other people to react to you. When someone is having a bad day and you come in being realistic and being authentic, but giving them and showing them compassion, it makes all the world difference. Be yourself. And if you don't know what that looks like just yet, that's okay. Going and finding yourself is key. Because once you know thyself, and again, you don't need to know the infinitude. But once you understand how you operate and the changes you can make to better thyself, to understanding what is your triggers, why are they your triggers? What was some wounding in your life that is projecting out here onto other people? Again, your energy, your state of frequency is forever in other people's fields. You're in the mall and you're walking around in a sour attitude. That's going to literally rub off on other people without your awareness. If you're going and emoting happy, joyful, harmonious vibratory states, when you're walking through the supermarket, you're walking in the mall, that's going to rub off on other people. When you're fighting and arguing, it's affecting, whether you like it or not, everybody in your area of fighting. And all that vibratory state and that frequency is hitting other people. And you might not, well, it has nothing to do with them, so whatever. No, not whatever. That frequency is hitting other people. Take it elsewhere so that you are not affecting other people. You don't know how it's going to affect them, but I see it all the time with my friends' children, my boyfriend's children. I see it, how it's affecting them. But it's not about them. Guess what? You're still having a low frequency and a low vibratory state being projected out and spraying around to everybody. You're the game changer in the room. You're the one that can shut it down. You're the one that can hold the positive rhythm and harmonious frequency in the room. You're the one who can pull other people. You see somebody feeling and being affected by negative energy. Hey, do you want to go outside and get some air? Hey, let's go play a game. Hey, you want to come color with me? Like, do something productive. If you see this holiday season, things are erupting, there's some tension in the air, and there's kids around, pull the kids out of the room. They might not be your kids, doesn't matter. Pull them out. They don't need that. You put your barrier up, you put your protection up, you put your things up. So you're protected. You're hearing it, but you're not absorbing it. It's not going into your field. It's being stopped. We need to do this, guys. It is very important to see the God in other people, to see and have compassion and grace for other people. That includes the negative people. When you can steer around and understand that it's God having an experience through everything, if you don't respect God, then you're going to continuously feed that energy. If you know thyself and know the divinity within you, and you're seeing the divinity in others, your reactions, your words will eventually change. So you're not feeding negativity, you're giving it light, love, compassion, grace. You're not being affected. You're not absorbing that energy. You're not getting emotional. You're not reactionary. These are the things that we need to start doing and applying in our lives. And that is with everything. That's why divine neutrality is extremely hard. It's catching yourself and giving yourself the forgiveness and the grace to say, oh, I slipped up. It happens. This is going to take a very long time to master. But we got to start somewhere. In the holidays, it is this time where we are going to be triggered. There are going to be things that are out of our control. But your reaction is the control. And once if you need some more guidance, this book is very helpful. There's a lot of good tools in here. Those charts are very helpful for you to start identifying. We don't mean to, a lot of people don't mean to judge or to criticize others. Sometimes we unconsciously make statements or write in a chat something, some crazy shit like, oh, that's left field for that person, right? And a lot of times it's unconscious. It's meant to vent. But being a way shower, setting standards, being the lighthouse for all is a heavy duty responsibility. It's not an easy task. And many of us have been tasked to be the lighthouses right now. So make sure that you're doing the best that you can to take care of yourself so that when you are out and about and putting energy out there, whether you're acknowledging that it's happening or not, it's still occurring. It's physics. Make sure that you're being the best version of yourself each and every day. Make sure that you're exuding that kind of confidence that other people want to emanate you. It's okay if people want to copy you. It's okay if people are looking and wanting to try to be you. They haven't found themselves yet. But you know what? Be that best so that they emulate something that is of the light. Give compassion to the people who are struggling right now. There are people in deep, dark abysses that need to get their shadow work done. That it's hitting hard, and this is the season where it mostly 9 times out of 10 happens, is winter, is the holiday seasons. Instead of, don't feel sorry for yourself. Make the best out of every day. Work each piece of your problems each and every day. Try to write down unbiasedly what kind of solutions can you create to make a better life for yourself. What is it that you're skilled at? What can you do? How do we get innovative? Bring other people in. If you can't be creative because you're blocking your own creative forces, sometimes we have blocks. Other people can come in and help you. But you have to ask for that help. That's how we have Amish mindset. That's how we help other people. Doesn't necessarily always need to be financial. It's just the little things that we can do each and every day to help support each other and bring each other into a lighthouse state of mind. We got to do this for everybody, not just for the people we know. We can't just segregate a section of people because that's the experience they chose to be born into. Oh, well, they eat babies and they're Satanists. Okay, great, but that's still of God. And most of these people are good people. There's a smidgen percentage of people out there, but yet you're characterizing an entire populace of people who identify as such. Give compassion and grace and hope that they're indoctrinating their programming since they were born can get undone. And you got to do it with grace and compassion and not stick things in people's faces. The same thing with my boyfriend. I have to give him compassion and grace for being stubborn and not trying to want to expand his consciousness. Some things he has more of an open mind to than others, and I just take what I can get out of the situation. I'm not upset. I'm not feeding him and not trying to go back and forth. I'm just bringing some stuff up. If I see there's no give and take, I just drop it and let it go and release. Instead of arguing and fighting or being passionate about something, I just return to my breath and go, maybe another time, but not right now. And then I move away from those feelings and disperse them. We could do it. It takes practice. Takes practice. Start seeing the divinity in others. God is within everything. But if you're going to put God on that almighty throne, then you need to act in just right manner. So with that, guys, I hope all of you have an amazing rest of your day. Please be safe, be seen. Please make sure that you are making the best attempts to keep yourself shielded, protected spiritually. That each day, while, the rush of the holidays and going out and people are not paying attention, that you're on your six, that you're looking at everything and everybody, and you're doing some detoxing of people and the craziness energies going on out there. It's a lot. Make sure you're grounded. I know it is like 14 degrees last night and today is like 26. It's cold out, but I still made a purpose to go to my backyard and hold my tree to ground and to thank the tree. So try to do something in your everyday walking existence to ground take care of yourself, and let's start making it conscious choices to make some changes in the way we are speaking of others and ourselves. And I hope that everybody has an amazing, beautiful holiday season, whatever you celebrate, whatever you are, if maybe you're not celebrating, but still try to find the magic in the season. I love looking at Christmas lights. I was raised in a Jewish home. We didn't have any of those things, but I was able to partake in other families and friends allowing me to partake in their seasonal joy. But I love the magic of feeling that joy. Hot chocolate, sniff of pine, just enjoying the snow, stuff of that nature. Try to enjoy life, enjoy the moments. Sending each and every one of you love, light, protection, shielding, compassion, and grace energetically. Please tap into your heart space. And I'm always here to chit chat. My art's year round. Please support me if you can, and it's okay if you can't, but share, like, subscribe is another way to help me. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Have a good one, guys.